Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Beyond the Legal Briefs from Associate to Founder. We have with us Sohini Mandal, founder of Nilaya Legal, to explore her dynamic journey in the legal world, from navigating high-stakes M&A deals to advising startups on investment strategies. Sohini has carved a niche as a top legal mind in the corporate and venture capital space. Join us as we discuss the evolution of corporate law, challenges entrepreneurship, and the personal side of this accomplished legal professional. So, welcome, Sohini, to today's coffee conversation.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So, let me explain you. There are 3 rounds. You must be aware of the 2 rounds, professional, personal, but there is a surprise rapid fire round of which you have to
Okay.
be fun and quick, and your gift, which we autograph and send to you. But you have to win it first.
Thank you. Sure. Let's go for it.
I know you'll do it. Okay, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Info Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question, uh, what inspired you to start Nilaya Legal, and what's the story behind naming Nilaya Legal as your law firm, and how has your journey been as a founder so far? So there are 3 things you have to answer.
Great. I'm actually glad that you asked this because the name is related to why I started Nilaya Legal and the journey as well. So I think inspiration has always been seeing other entrepreneurs. I have been working with startups and early stage companies from very, very early on in my career. And the exposure to founders just makes it so very interesting. And I've always been inspired by their thinking process, the way they're always, looking to innovate, solve problems, disrupt, right? So I would say I always had the entrepreneurial bug in me. And I finally took the plunge in 2021 when we were just coming out of COVID, which takes me to the name really. So when I started Nilaya Legal, the idea was that it should be something which provides very personalized and focused attention to founders, especially. So Nilaya essentially in Sanskrit means a resting place. And therefore, the name means that, a place where founders and clients can just come and, be like, "ठीक है, हाँ, आ गए हैं, and now you take care of our problems." So that is what I intended to do, and I hope I'm on the right path. The journey so far, Amir, has been very, very colorful. Um, there have been ups and downs, of course, but yeah, and also as a solo founder, right? I don't know if I'm a founder on at some days it's like I'm doing everything, right? From administration to business development to execution, right? So it's fun. It just keeps me on my toes always. And I just feel like it's a very holistic life experience to be an entrepreneur. And it just teaches you so much about life.
Wow, beautiful. Okay, so let's dive deep into the conversation. What are some common legal mistakes that founders make while securing investments?
So I wouldn't say legal mistakes per se, because founders today are also very savvy. So most founders typically reach out and seek legal representation from very early stages because they know that there are certain navigations which are required to be done where a legal counsel can be of help. Uh, However, I think there's certain things that founders do need to keep in mind while signing the term sheet, especially because typically when deals come to us, the term sheets are already signed. So we get on in the deal stages from the execution, the diligence part of it. But the term sheets are typically signed, and there I think founders need to keep certain things in mind in terms of, how much dilution they're going to end up giving. So I mean, it's commercial, but as a commercial legal counsel, right? We always advise founders from the perspective with a business angle in mind, right? So, of course, valuations and dilutions are always discussed and agreed upon upfront. But we have seen sometimes founders ending up diluting a lot more at very early stages, which becomes a problem going forward, right? So that is one thing you need to keep in mind as a founder in terms of having a dilution strategy for at least the next 3 4 rounds of fundraisers that a founder would go through. That's one. And secondly, of course, compliances are very important. And the way we see investors asking for certain corporate governance aspects today are slightly different from how they would have view early stage companies even like 5 10 years back, because of how the Indian ecosystem has been maturing. So from that perspective, founders, and all of this is really good, right? It helps the early stages companies to, set practices in place. But founders do need to be careful about how much they are exposing themselves to in terms of information rights, inspection rights, especially when the investors are strategic in nature.
Wow. So, as a legal advisor, Sohini, how do you approach risk mitigation for startups and investors?
I would say preparedness. We help companies to be prepared for fundraisers, right? So when it comes to compliance and risk mitigation, the only way you can control that is by being prepared, right? So when we represent companies, we constantly run checks and balances in terms of new technology coming in, new legal updates coming in, and just seeing whether the clients are compliant with that, and are aware of the new legal challenges which are coming in today. So yeah, we help companies to be prepared, which eventually leads to better risk mitigation.
Wow. So, let's go down memory lane. Can you share a particularly challenging deal you worked on and how did you navigate it?
There have been many. Each deal is different, Amir, and each deal comes with its own challenges. But there's one that I particularly remember because it was also the founder is a dear friend, and most founders end up being very dear friends because we work on relationship basis rather than transaction basis. In this case, particularly, it was a Series C fundraise, and the company had its own counsel where the founder wanted me to represent him. And I ended up being the founder counsel, and it was quite complex in terms because it was a capital intense business, and the commercials had to be negotiated very hard. There were multiple early stage investors, mid stage investors involved, and there was a large sovereign fund coming in as a new investor. So there were quite a few challenges to navigate the discussions with different sets of investors and groups of investors, while like differentiating also the company from the founder, because sometimes at these late stages the founder's interests and the company's interests would obviously be aligned, but the founder also needs to be aware of, having put in a lot of time and effort in building the company, the founder needs to be aware of his economic benefits as well, right? So this was one particular challenging deal. I ended up representing both the founder and the company eventually. And yeah, we got out of it. It finally got executed. It took a little bit of a longer time than usual to close because of the different conversations that have been happening. But yeah, we closed it.
Wow. So, have you faced a funny or difficult or challenging when dealing with startups? Sorry, yeah, with startup founders and co-founders because they're coming from different mindsets and different
Hmm.
cultures. So, how do you
Hmm.
navigate it?
So if I start working with co-founders from a very early stage, what I do advise them mandatorily is to get into a founders agreement. And that kind of kickstarts a lot of difficult conversations that they would not have had otherwise. So yeah, sometimes I have to be the bad cop, but uh, that's the beauty of the job as well. And yeah, once you have those conversations starting, because see, people come together to co-found something because of a certain meeting of minds, right? So there is nothing that can be like a showstopper, right? Everything can be aligned through conversations, communication, and that is what we facilitate, and then just formalize it through a founders agreement.
Wow, beautiful. So, Sohini, you specialize in private equity, venture capital, and M&A. How do you see the investment landscape evolving in India?
Okay. That's a loaded question because I was at this conference the other day and I heard someone saying that the Indian venture capital ecosystem is still at its infancy. So it's a very, very new market still compared to the US markets, of course. And it is a new space. It is evolving. It is growing as we speak. But I think the market is maturing in terms of founders seeing new age investors, a lot of HNIs and family offices also getting into venture capital investments, with, of course, the regulations also becoming, more stringent and robust in terms of monitoring and compliance. SEBI putting a lot more focus on AIFs. And I think with the ups and downs that the startup ecosystem went through in the last few years, valuations have also become a lot more wiser, saner, right? So I would say it's a maturing market. It is still evolving, and there is quite a bit that we can learn from global markets as well. But overall, I mean, as numbers would say, we are drawing a huge amount of inflow of FDI. So yeah, I think we are doing good.
Wow. So, Sohini, how has the role of a corporate lawyer evolved in the age of tech-driven startups and digital transformation?
Well, for one, we always have to be on our toes, more so now because of things becoming technology driven. So we have to be quicker, smarter. There is AI. So which is obviously sometimes a facilitator. Um, I think as a corporate lawyer today, it's more important to be enablers rather than, naysayers. So our job is not to, say that, okay, this cannot be done, this cannot be done, but our job is to facilitate business, to enable business, right? So I think that is an evolution that has happened and is also, in the process of happening. And as corporate lawyers, we just have to all be on that bandwagon.
Wow. So, Sohini, having worked in both large firms and now running your own practice, what are some key differences you've observed in legal consulting?
Well, that is actually one of the reasons I started Nilaya Legal, because we are a boutique of the boutique practices, right? Because we provide a lot of personalized and focused attention. And what helps while I'm doing my own practice is that the focus is a lot more on the relationship with the founders. I mean, it's not just that we are representing them in a particular deal fundraise and then that's about it. It's about being a part of the founders' story, being a part of the founders' growth journey. Because now that I'm a founder myself, I understand their pain points so much better. And it's always very, very enriching as an experience to be a part of a founder's growth journey. So yeah, I think that's what is uh, different today in the way I look at things from the days when I was working with law firms.
Wow. So, Sohini, who has influenced you or been a mentor from the legal world, and what key learnings did you get?
In the legal field, of course, the partners that I have worked with, the seniors that I have worked with, have hugely influenced the way I look at work, legal work. I look at businesses, and but I have always had mentors, Amir, from outside the legal community as well, which is where I have the ability to look at things very holistically and take a 360-degree view, if I may say so, right? So. Um, it's my motto has always been to have a balanced approach towards things, right? Not in extremes. So I think that is what has come from being mentored by even a lot of entrepreneurs as well. So there are quite a few founder friends who have pushed me to take the plunge and who have nudged me towards the right direction every now and then in terms of doing what I'm doing as well.
Wow. So, Sohini, how do you stay ahead of the industry trends, changes happening? Because this is very startup advisory is evolving, ever
Right.
evolving. How do you keep yourself updated?
Well, the team is really helpful for that. The team just keeps me updated all the time in terms of everything that is coming up as new legal changes, updates, industry updates, etc. And then it's also about your personal interest. So wherever my personal interest lies, I'm also constantly reading up, updating myself in terms of what's happening. So yeah, that's how I keep myself updated.
Wow. So, Sohini, what advice would you give to young lawyers who like to uh, e- form their own law firm and start their career in entrepreneurship? So, your experience will help them to take this plunge after watching this episode.
Well, I would say do not do this if you to do not do this if you want an easy life, because that's not going to happen. When you get into entrepreneurship, it's probably like 100x of the work that you have been doing previously, because it's not just doing the legal work, but like I said, doing everything from administration to accounts to tech, cybersecurity, everything, right? So you have to wear all hats. And sometimes it's not that glamorous as well, right? Sometimes it can be just, getting down to the details of execution and doing the most boring and the most mundane work. So do it only if you're super kicked about what you want to do. Do it if you love what you're doing, and that's what keeps me going and motivated.
Wow, beautiful. So let's go to the next round and understand Sohini as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I grew up in Calcutta. My father has had a huge influence on me while growing up, and yeah, it's been so I come from a very I've grown up, Amir, with very middle class values, and that has helped me to be centered and humble. Even today, when I've gone out in the world and trying to do multiple things, I have lived in different cities, which has enriched my experience and given me exposure to different kind of client thought processes in different jurisdictions, right? So um, I would say the combination of, like growing up in a family with very centralized value system, middle class value system, to, getting exposure very early on in my career to different kinds of work and different kind of jurisdictional aspects has helped me to be who I am today.
Wow. So let's go down memory lane to your college days at West Bengal National University of Judicial Science. What were your experience, memories, and how did it help in shaping your career?
So it's National University of Juridical Sciences, NUJS, and I think it was one of the greatest opportunities that I've had in life to get through NUJS, and being exposed to a very cosmopolitan culture, great legal minds, which just gave me a very, very strong foundation in legal knowledge and legal acumen, and also made us very, the way the entire curriculum is structured helps to, you know, uh, take care of it helps to question things, right? So the ability to question everything, the criticality of things, right? So that as a fundamental base has come from my experience in NUJS, and there are very, very dear professors who I'm still grateful to for teaching us what they have taught us.
Wow. So, Sohini, what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
Well, that's very easy. I have a dog and I have a toddler. So my favorite way to unwind is to just go home and just play with them and just forget everything and just be with them.
Wow. Uh, Besides this, uh, what's a book, movie, or web series which has impacted you?
There are many. I am actually very driven by books and content that I consume. I read a lot. So there have been many which have shaped the kind of decisions I've taken in life. But one in particular, if I have to name one, that would be Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara.
Mhm.
And the reason I say that is because if you look at my career from being an in-house counsel to taking the plunge to get into the startup ecosystem and then taking the plunge to start my own practice, all of these have been with that thought process of, I have one life and I should not have any regrets. So yeah, I would say Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara has been a huge influence on me.
So, what's one hobby or creative thing that uh, you have picked up from your childhood and are still doing, or any new hobby you want to pick up and do creative something?
There are so many hobbies that I actually want to pick up. But the one thing that has been very consistent in my life and has helped me a lot is journaling and writing, creative writing. So I write. So any form of creative writing as a story form, fiction, non-fictional, journaling has been a very integral part of my everyday life. And yeah, that's something that has stayed with me and hopefully will continue to stay with me.
Wow. So, what's the most memorable vacation or trip you have ever been on?
In 2022, I did a trip to Greece, which was after a long period because of COVID, lockdown, etc. And that has been special in many, many ways. But yeah, that is one of the best vacations I've ever had. It was very relaxing, and Greece as a country is also, like very, very welcoming, very relaxing. So
Wow. So, Sohi, do you have a guilty pleasure when it comes to food, TV shows, or anything?
yes, of course, who doesn't? So I food would be biryani. Whenever I'm going through a low day or a low phase, I'm always like resorting to chicken biryani to uplift my mood. And TV series would be The Kardashians. That is my guilty pleasure. I mean, I can just switch off my mind and watch like some content which I don't have to think about. And I love The Kardashians.
Wow. Suppose, Sohini, you have 1 week away from work, away from gadgets, away from meeting the founders. How would you like to spend?
Definitely with my family. Um, like I said, I have a toddler and a dog, and of course, my husband as well. And getting time together is very, very special for us. So definitely, I'll spend a lot of time with them. I'll spend a lot of time on myself as well for self growth to, sometimes just center myself. So a lot of reading, writing, maybe meditation. So yeah, I would love doing that.
Yeah. Sohini, we have this series, Sri Shakti, and recently Women's Day was celebrated. What does Sri Shakti mean to you?
See, I mean, it's a lot of inner strength because as women, and as cliche as this may sound, we have a lot more struggles in life than the men folk. Um, so Sri Shakti would essentially to me mean the inner strength to push through things, the resilience that inherently come with being a woman.
Wow. So my last one, which will be a googly one, describe Sohini in one line.
Wow. Um, I'm someone who is very methodical. Discipline and growth are very, very important to me. So I'm constantly looking for avenues and opportunities where I can grow as a human being, as a profession, both in my personal and professional lives. So yeah, I think that explains me in a line.
Wow. So let's go next round, the rapid fire, the fun round, and have some fun.
See, this is where you'll get to know whether I'm fun or not.
Books or podcast?
Sorry.
Books
So I have
or
to name
podcast?
a
Me,
podcast that I want.
books or podcast? What is your preference?
Books any day.
Contracts or courtroom?
Contracts.
Mumbai monsoons or Goa beaches?
Mumbai monsoons.
M&A or venture capital?
Venture capital.
Your go-to comfort food?
Biryani.
Favorite color?
White.
Favorite song?
There isn't one. There are like too many favorite songs.
So which one? Anything you can recollect?
Mm, आने वाला पल जाने वाला है. That's one of my favorite songs of all times.
Favorite Bengali dish? Sorry, favorite Bengali dessert?
Bengali desert. Oh, there are way too many. This is very difficult. Rasgulla has to be.
Mine too. My favorite also. Okay. The best career advice you have ever received?
Don't be constrained by your circumstances or the room you're in, because you're so much more than that.
Wow. Tea or coffee for brainstorming?
See, always.
So you did well, and here's your book, which we autograph and send to you.
Thank you. Yay.
So, friend, it was a lovely conversation having with Sohini Mandal on a holy day. So, yes, she had a lot of colors behind the screen,
I hope I
greenery,
did.
yeah, the plants, ecosystem, everything. Yeah. So, this episode is all about being part of the startup ecosystem where all the action is there, dealing with the startup founders. So, all those legal professionals or anyone who wants to be part of the startup ecosystem, this is the episode. And you want to take a plunge of being a founder of having your own venture. So Sohini has shared many insights how she's handling being a founder, doing juggling too many things, but enjoying, and she has her sights to go a big way. So we hope for the best for 2025 and more exciting things to happen at Nilaya Legal. So watch this episode, subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show, where there 350 plus guest speakers have been featured from different industry subject experts sharing their stories, journeys, expertise. And if you want to be featured like Nilaya, visit our LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or our website, the Emerging India Forum, and our team will invite you to have coffee conversation and share your interesting stories journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Amir. It was lovely being on this show. And thank you for doing this, for giving this platform to people, for coming and sharing their stories. You're doing a great job.